Welcome to an algebra tutorial video. We are working through a series about linear equations. In this video, we're going to tackle horizontal lines, understanding what is the concept. We've been writing equations, we've been talking about slopes, different forms of linear equations. Let's get into some special cases, in this case, horizontal lines. So I've got a horizontal line drawn out here. A horizontal line is just a flat line that goes straight across. You notice there's no increase or no decrease, it's a straight line, straight across. And we can write a linear equation for this line, and there are some special things that are going on. All right, so first let's get a couple of points here. Let's kind of see if we notice something. So the coordinates of this point on the line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's -7 for x, and then we go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the point -7, 5 is on this line. Let's do a few other points. -2 for x, and it still goes up 5. Let's do one right here, over 4 to the right, and up 5. And lastly, let's do this point right there, to the right 9 units, and up 5. So what do we notice about just these 4 specific points? Again, we could have picked any number of points. Every line represents an infinite number of points. But if you notice just these 4 points, the x values are changing. So we're going from -7 to -2 to 4 to 9. So that's a changing variable. But my y values are staying exactly the same. They're locked in. They're 5, 5, 5, 5. And if I picked any point on this line, it's always going to have a y value of 5. Well, right there, that's the whole concept between writing horizontal lines. So here we go. Every horizontal line has the equation y equals some constant. We're going to put c for constant. It's just y equals a number because we're wanting to represent what are all the points that have a y value of this number. In our particular equation right here, our y values are always 5. It crosses the y-axis at 5. So the equation for that line is y equals 5. I want to think what are all the points that have a y value of 5, and that's going to form my line. If I had another line, let's say if I drew a line down here, there's another horizontal line. This one crosses at -3 for my y-axis. So the equation of that line would be y equals -3. What are all the points that have a y value of -3? All right, so there we go. Jot that down. Every horizontal line has the equation y equals c. If you can find what that constant is, what is that value that the y points always have, then you got your equation. All right, let's dig a little bit more into some special cases here. Let's talk about slopes. You notice there's no x value. So what is going on in the terms of this equation? So let's pick a couple points from my blue line here. Let's find the slope of this line. So the slope, m, if you remember, is just we're looking at, well, how much change is happening in my y values divided by how much change is happening in my x values, because every line, we want to understand the changing pattern. What's the average rate of change? All right, let's pick a couple points here. We're going to just pick the two ends. So let's find the slope of the line between those 2 points. In our equation, so if I subtract the y values, 5 minus 5, divided by 9 minus -7, they're subtracting the change in x. Let's see what's happening here. 5 minus 5 is 0, and 9 minus -7 turns into 9 plus 7, which is 16. So how do I interpret this? 0 over 16. What this is telling me is that I do have a change of 16 along my x values, so it's moving along my x values, but as that happens, there is no change in my y values. I'm not increasing, I'm not decreasing, I'm staying exactly the same. There's no change up or down. So we say this line has a slope of 0. There's no increase, there's no decrease, it's just a flat line. So that's the other point. Every horizontal line, write that out, every horizontal line has a slope of 0. So there you go. And if you really want to break it down, you can think of it this way in terms of slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Well, if it's a horizontal line and it has a slope of 0, we put 0 in for m, we end up with y equals 0 times x plus whatever the y-intercept is. But 0 times x, 0 times anything is just 0, so it turns into just y equals our constant, or y equals b, whatever the y-intercept is. So the idea of slope being 0 kind of also directly leads you to why the equation of a horizontal line is just y equals some constant number. And that constant number is just the y value that the line goes through, just the y-intercept. All right, hopefully that is helpful for you in understanding horizontal lines, the equations of horizontal lines, and the slopes of horizontal lines.